Welcome back. We're going to be moving on to Hollywood for map number 1 between Mono and Colorado Clutch. This is the lower bracket game in Group C. The loser faces elimination from the group and will not, unfortunately, be joining us in Atlanta. The winner goes on to face Team Liquid for that coveted second slot.
Of course, both teams did qualify for this moment to play for the $300,000 tournament, or qualification for it, in a couple of 256 team brackets. It's the OverwatchOpen, aptly named, because it is open to just about everybody who wants to play. And Mono looking to make a name for themselves. They're going to be attacking first with Clutch on defense, and Mono, absolutely the underdog. No stretch of the imagination would change that.
Yeah. Mono, at the end of the day, collapsing a little bit against Fnatic, whereas Clutch taking it all the way against Team Liquid, but falling only just short. Let's see what they have against each other, though. And oh my goodness, we have sneaky snake shenanigans coming out of here from Clutch to start things off. They're coming round the back, and this is a very aggressive defense. They weren't expecting this at all. Calvin WGB getting the first couple of kills, and well, that certainly had surprise value.
We've seen stuff like this from Clutch before, and a very non-standard defensive positioning there, as they're all really bunched up, waiting and biding their time, and kind of risky. I mean, I don't even like that against a team like Mono. I think it's probably a little bit more safe for them to just play on the point, but anyway,
sure.
No harm, no foul. They've backed off.
Yeah, they just want to get 1 or 2. They weren't committing to a full team wipe or anything like that, but it was interesting to try and get those picks up, and here we go. Hamsword actually doing a great job on Reinhardt to start things off, and again, Clutch get those crucial early game picks. Calvin WGB grabbing a double each and sending them packing.
And that was just great teamwork that you saw out of Clutch. They communicated that the flashbang was coming, and it just seemed like everyone had their sights trained on Reinhardt from the get-go. So even though fairly simple stuff, well-coordinated play there coming out of Clutch.
Now we're looking for other ways in from Mono. Of course, they still have 2 minutes 45 remaining. Well, still quite a long time to go. They are going to have a reasonable number of team fights, and they have a pretty safe composition. Nothing super out of the ordinary so far. Let's see what they do on this flank.
And it's going to be the cafe taken here by Clutch. They saw that the other team was going for the high ground, so they're going to take the high ground themselves. Do they know that this is going to shoot through? Too many skulls behind that Reinhardt shield means that that shield goes down very, very quickly. And yeah, if you're newer to the game, just FYI, if you have the skulls behind the shield, it means that it's going to do that equivalent damage to it, which means it's going to go down.
Exactly. As long as the shield goes down first, the skulls will be pretty happy afterwards. And Calvin, at the moment, a little bit of a standout performance. We did see him earlier in the day as well against Team Liquid, performing extremely well, we have to say. Both him and Louis had some fantastic moments there. Haven't seen a massive Death Blossom from Louis yet, but he's queuing up for one.
Yeah, Louis is a player that can play Tracer, he can play Reaper, he can play McCree as well. But there's a big Earthshatter coming out and stopping this push in its tracks. Mono sent packing. That said, they are going to have a whole lot of ultimates, Jorasar, for this next push, and we'll see what kind of combinations they can come up with.
They're going to have to do something. I mean, they haven't even been wiped. I want to say they haven't even been wiped on top of the point yet. They seem to be getting stopped from getting there in the first place. This is a really tricky situation for them to be in as they round the bend for this fight. Are they going to be able to do anything differently? They're playing very standard, coming behind the Reinhardt shields, they're trying again, taking them up in a face-to-face fight. Oh no, and unfortunately the shield goes down. Calvin once again getting the first kill off, but Mono grabbing a double, and Calvin goes down as well. This could actually be their opportunity.
Okay, Louis will strike back, but what a nice push there, but 3 kills in a row from Louis happening off screen here. We didn't get a chance to see it at home and on the caster desk, but Louis actually, strange to say, Louis saved it for his team.
Louis ruining dreams, man. That was actually pretty good. More importantly, though, actually, Mono will have the opportunity to do that again, and they'll have 4 ultimates available, so that's okay. Louis, they're really saving it for Clutch.
It's going to have to be a big Graviton surge coming out of Calypso here, and will he be able to get it? No, look! The entirety of Mono has been knocked over with a huge Earthshatter coming out from WGB, and when we were casting this team, Colorado Clutch, beforehand, we were saying that WGB coming out strong as Reinhardt, getting more representation, I guess, on the kill feed than just about any other Reinhardt.
Krishan does get a double, but unfortunately he gets a double with the Death Blossom being the last person standing. Unfortunately, not particularly productive for him at all, and this will likely end up being a full hold. They don't even get to touch the point again, and Colorado Clutch on Hollywood comfortably take the first point.
Yeah, this was the first fight that we saw in the entire map. It was the entirety of Clutch coming from a flanking angle, and this is one of the reasons why I like this team. They're not going to stick with what you see out of every other team. They're always going to be trying new things.
And well, unfortunately, the dream ending in a little bit of disaster, but they still have the opportunity to full hold themselves. Clutch, though, I have to say, looking like a very cohesive team at the moment. And at the end there, Louis, they were booting up. Mono did a good job in the first half of that team fight, and Louis putting them straight back into airplane mode.
Okay, so Mono switching on over to defense and actually going to be going with the Junkrat, it looks like. So I don't hate this. I mean, there was actually a small window of time, maybe about 2 weeks to about a month period, where Junkrat was actually a standard pick on the defending side of Hollywood here.
Sure.
We used to see actually Calypse is already saying rip for their dreams, unfortunately, in chat. But it used to be standard here to just spam away with that Junkrat, and it's really difficult to get through the arches when Junkrat's spamming away.
To be fair to them, I think one of the observing PCs just ducked out of the game. Oh, they're posing for a team photo. Isn't that cute? Everybody snap away.
Look at this.
Cha-ching. Well done. Who actually takes that sub? Oh, very nice.
How did they...
Very well done.
Okay.
Very, very well done. I should point out as well, the only other way you would see defensive Junkrat as an auto pick here would be if we're watching Seagull playing. He is quite the joy to watch. Junkrat has been coming back a little bit more. Always first point Hollywood, potentially first point Dorado, having that possible pick there. But I'm very, very excited to see if Kreeshawn can actually make him count here as Colorado Clutch move out.
Okay. We have seen guys like Tailspin picking a lot of Junkrat on defense here too. It has fallen out of the meta just a tiny bit, but still can be really difficult to make your way through. No matter how good of a team you are, Junkrat spam is still hard to deal with.
And here we go, Clutch trying to see if they can make this a one and done. Mono trying to be stalwart with their defense. Reinhardt goes into a different postcode, and team captain gets taken down, but not before picking off Lucio. Is that pick going to be enough to push Clutch back? It is indeed. A couple more characters unfortunately getting pushed back as well, and Mono will be able to hold.
I feel like it makes so much sense that the Reinhardt is named team captain. He's just like, get behind my shield team. I'll do this.
There can be no confusion over who does what in that team, that's for sure.
Yep, so back to the drawing board as Clutch has been shut down the first time around. So at least that's going for Mono now, as they've been able to hold one time very, very successfully here. It's the Junkrat trap on the point that actually going to be able to do some work too. And another 2 kills, 3 kills, 4 kills instantaneously in just a matter of seconds. Gone to Mono. They're going to hold just a bit longer.
Ghosty keeping the dream alive here, doing a really good job at the moment, and he's basically performing Calvin's role for Mono right now. No time to go back behind the screen to take another photo. Clutch, you have a job to do. 2 minutes and 38 seconds now for them to continue taking this first point and the map.
And if you think about what is going to counter Junkrat here, you know, we used to see Pharah be a fantastic counter to Junkrat. Genji as well can be a really nice counter to Junkrat, and we do know that Louis has a Genji up his sleeve. That's a Kreeshawn. Oh, he could get a
really good. Over the top.
Get one.
Kreeshawn did an excellent job. It was only because of the Zarya bubble that he didn't potentially get a triple kill there. So that was beautifully done. And now we actually see Clutch moving on in. The Zarya bubbles are actually doing very well. Zarya, of course, the other hero. Oh my god, Calvin. The other hero that can actually counter a Junkrat, because you don't want to just be building that charge all the time. And Clutch now wipe Mono. It looks like they're going to be able to take this point and Hollywood away from them.
A valiant effort on map 1, and still one last chance as team captain moving forward. But it's going to be a Zarya ultimate, going to keep the entirety of Mono all the way back. Even though the ultimate is popped, actually somebody's on the point. Somebody's back there. As looks like Hamsword coming all the way around the back, and just 1 pixel left, but somehow, someway, still in it. But in the end, it will be map number 1 going to Clutch. But some moral victories, you know, speckled in through there.
Maybe just a little bit. I think Kreeshaw, just a bit there, was trying to steal the contest with Tracer, but unfortunately for him, Louis was going to be able to stop him in his tracks. And Calvin, I mean, absolutely pixel perfect on all of these shots there. What an incredible play leading up to the end. Commiserations to Mono, though. They actually had quite a good couple of holds there before they actually got beat in the end.
Yeah. It was difficult for Clutch to find a way around all of that Junkrat spam, but it really was the Calvin show towards the end there on Hollywood. with the loss now for Mono, they're going to have the opportunity to pick the next map, and will it be Gibraltar or will it be Kings Row? We'll find out in just a second here.
Yeah, if I had to flip a coin and say, well, we just want to, play them on a normal map and say that we can actually take the fight to them, we'd go Kings Row. But really, it matters very little because they're going to have to beat them on both maps anyway if they are to progress in this situation. And of course, now, with Clutch 1-0 up, we should also talk about the possibility of that rematch against Team Liquid, which was so close, going all the way down to the final couple of seconds on Temple of Anubis. And we've just heard that they are going to be going to Kings Row.
Yeah, I think that's the right choice for Mono here, and most teams have played a little bit more on Kings Row, especially more on Kings Row than Gibraltar. Gibraltar actually tends to be a map, I want to say that takes a little bit more strategy. It takes, you have to be synced really, really well together. Of course, Kings Row is all about the team play as well, but you can kind of just get along on Kings Row with having great coordination, whereas on a map like Gibraltar, it's got to be some kind of more in-depth strategy a lot of the time against a team like Clutch. So, yeah, I agree that's probably the right choice for Mono here.
It's a little bit more unique, really, isn't it, on Watchpoint Gibraltar? Because the equivalent of a Streets phase that you go, oh, yeah, Dorado plays out like this. Oh, yeah, you've also got Hollywood that plays out like this. You actually have the shuttle room followed by a really weird dog leg on Gibraltar where there are actually ledges not on top of the payload, but off to either side. So it's not necessarily better or worse, but it's definitely more unique. And when something's more unique, you just take a little bit more time to prepare for it. You have to go out of your way a bit. So no surprise here to see Kings Row. Of course, both teams are going to be super comfortable with how this plays out. Of course, a little bit higher stakes for Mono in this situation compared to Clutch.
Yeah, I wonder if we're going to see any Genji come out. We were actually talking in the post game of that last match, realizing we didn't see any Genji at all in the match between Team Liquid and Fnatic. So I wonder if we're going to see Genji. It's a little bit harder to make him work, especially on this first point. And the pre-game rituals have begun again. And this team continues to give me reasons to like them.
I think that that was them chanting and Calvin becoming the popsicle in the middle. I think we might have just caught the tail end of that.
That was some kind of weird blood ritual, I think. They're praying to Mei.
They're praying to Mei. May the ice be ever in our favor. Is Calvin going to stay on Mei?
Doubtful.
So this is the map where Calvin gave us the heroics on Hanzo. He started off as Widowmaker and then switched on to Hanzo and did tremendously well against Team Liquid. Let's see if they're able to do the same here against Mono.
And we got the cinematic camera angle to start things off as Clutch moving through on the middle. Going to be trying to take down that Reinhardt shield. Krayshawn draws first blood, and once again, on defense, Mono has looked quite good. They were able to get the first kill, which gives them a pretty decent advantage now, and Krayshawn actually getting quite close to the Riptire already. But as we've talked about in the past, WGB able to dole out more damage than most Reinhardts.
Going boink and sending Calvin basically into the next post-go, but he comes back with a kill on Ghosty. Krayshawn continuing to deliver the DPS from over there, and Clutch are basically going to respond by saying your damage is irrelevant, we're moving on to the point, forcing Junkrat to come out into the open air.
And Junkrat basically left by himself now, has to fall back. It's going to be a nice fire strike coming out, combination with Ham Sword, picking up the kill, and it's going to be the first point, collected very easily here for Clutch. They're going to have some ultimates now building and getting closer and closer to having actually almost every single ultimate up.
That was reasonably well coordinated by Mono in the sense that they detected when they were starting to lose and pulled back to avoid giving Clutch any more ultimate charge. So that was kind of good. They did lose the first point and they didn't actually manage to delay Clutch too much, but I thought that their knowledge and game sense around what was happening allowed them to potentially live and fight another day here. And guess what, Fish Sticks? Calvin's on Hanzo.
Yeah, Calvin's Hanzo did absolute amounts of work, and oh no! T-Tors, we missed all of the action. Louis, WGB, that had to be a big Earth Shatter if I'm guessing, and also taking a look at the ultimate score up top. Combination of the Earth Shatter, we didn't even need to see it. Just gonna call it, it was the Earth Shatter into Deadeye. And we've seen that combo time and time again.
Yeah, that's 4 kills between the both of them there. That combo of ultimates just allowing Clutch to do wonders as Calvin now looking to build up as much ultimate as he can. Transcendence now coming out from Clutch. They've still got 2 ultimates available. There is the Earth Shatter. Ooh, that actually looked like the payload rolled over someone. That did not look pleasant at all. Louis moving in with a double kill, and Clutch now trying to get through to the 3rd point. They will successfully do so. This is looking like a very quick time, and there, Calvin gets on the scoreboard.
Yeah, Ghosty left all by himself, and he couldn't even get out of that position if he wanted to. So might as well just die and get back with your team, and you will have time to do so. So one last chance to put the brakes on this payload as it scoots forward. Excuse me. Closer and closer, as it is 3 in the morning here. We've been casting for days and days. We've got one more full day of casting for you guys, but Mono, one last-ditch effort here as the sound barrier is dropped now for Clutch, and they have all the room they need, all of the ultimates that they need. Calvin has gotten 3 in this engagement, and Louis will get the 6th and final kill.
Oh, that was brutal. The staggering of the ultimates there, the Earthshatter, the flashbang stopping Team Captain from coming through and saying, hey, nice initiate, bro, smack. Basically started that engagement off. Calvin and just did an incredible job of following up with Louis. And that is going to be that, I think, because Clutch does have the Transcendence to allow them to get yet another team wipe onto the point as it moves on through. 5:43 left on the clock. Not quite world record time, but incredibly quick here on Kings Row.
And we know there's a ton of Mono fans out there rooting their hearts out for this team. They are the underdogs, and underdogs in esports tend to have the most fans. So we don't have chat open right now, but I want to see you guys rooting for the underdogs of Mono. Let's see if they can pull this back, make a miracle happen.
We're asking everyone to give Mono their energy.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying here, Jorsar.
I mean, based on the way the first half of that map went, it's technically possible for them to beat this time, but I'm not going to lie, Fish Sticks. They're going to need quite a bit of energy. Again, I would absolutely be first in line to see them do this here. That was very, very nicely done, though, from Clutch. Every single time they were in a position where they went, hang on a second, we still need to make sure that we're disciplined. Ooh, smacking into the hand there, that's not good.
Oh, so close.
That pigeon will not live to fight another day.
Close.
I'm going to name that pigeon Mike. All right, Clutch now. There was a Bastion on the board a moment ago, and at 3 minutes and 16 seconds. That is an absolutely blistering time. Mono can basically afford, I don't know, technically can afford 1 team wipe on the first point maybe, and then once you start seeing a second one, it's like, guys, this is like close to mathematically impossible now.
So I'm just going to call out quickly, as the sausage is being hung by the noose with the sprays. We saw a top 500 spray there, so we definitely have some talent on this Mono team, but just being top 500 in ranked is not even close to enough to compete with teams that are scrimming and practicing the level of Colorado Clutch. A team that still yet to really make a huge splash in the scene, but they've been around for a long time. They've played in online tournaments, they've played in offline tournaments, they've been boot camping together, so even though you've got top 500 on your team, Mono, you're going to need a whole lot more to make this happen.
And here we go, moving out now as Mono looking to try and basically one and done the first point. They need to beat an incredibly quick time set here by Colorado Clutch. They move here behind Team Captain Shield, and here comes the first engagement, incredibly critical, and oh no, the tank going down first. That is not ideal for them at all. They're going to have to wait for him to come back. They basically can't afford more than one of these now. They have to push on through the whole map.
Yeah, and they can't afford to push in without their team captain, though. Team captain Oz Reinhardt has to lead the way for his team. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, whatever. Whatever.
Here we go. We're gonna try. We're gonna try and move on in now. WGB coming in with the charge. Oh, and you know what? That is close to just straight up being that. Calvin and Louis once again owning up a couple of kills between them. WGB just coming in for good measure, but really that is icing on the cake at this point. We're down to 2 minutes and 20 seconds to cap the first point and the rest of the map as well. This is, I think, one more wipe, and they might well just call the GGs here. Mono, commiserations to them. Clutch have been absolutely fantabulous all day long, and I think they're about to set up this anticipated rematch with Team Liquid.
Yeah, and it's going to be a good one, Jorsar. Team Liquid versus Clutch the first time around. It was nail-bitingly close in the end, a lot closer than I think a lot of people might have expected. So we're going to see a rematch, and this is kind of how a lot of these groups have ended playing on out, where it's going to be a rematch almost every single time between the team right on the bubble and the team that we kind of expect to go on through. So Colorado Clutch looking to face off one more time versus Team Liquid coming up very shortly.
Well, they really are actually on the bubble. I mean, 2-1 in that first series, an absolute nail-biter. So we'll see if some of that might come down to the map selection as well. Louis being sneaky, coming in around the back with the Death Blossom. He gets taken out, though, by Matt very quickly indeed. And Mono here showing a little bit of caliber, just trying to hunt down and say, actually, guys, we can win team fights as well. Looking for those initial picks up, and Lumberjack with an excellently timed transcendence just before the trigger gets pulled. And Calvin comes right back in with a double. No, scratch that. He's going to basically wipe the rest of the team as well. And Reinhardt is playing mop-up duty.
Yeah, you don't really see this very often. The time to beat is shorter than the time to capture this first point. So even though they have 1 minute and 34 seconds to capture the first point, only 50 seconds left on the stopwatch, as we are playing stopwatch mode here in the Overwatch Atlantic Showdown.
They want to cap it for Pride, and I can respect that. We'll see if they can do it. Yeah, here comes the cap of Pride. Are we actually going to see it happen? No, because Hamsword and Louis say, hang on a second. Calvin, you take a backseat this time around. We'll handle this.
And I apologize, guys. My brain is actually starting to leak out of my ear. It's the OW Open that we're playing in, of course. And unfortunately for Mono, they made it this far. They made it through the qualifying rounds on to the final qualifier. Yet, in the end, they will drop out. GGs and commiserations dropped into the chat, and actually a little bit of good favor there coming from our friend Krayshawn, who played quite well for his team. You know, his Junkrat actually did more work than just about anything else for his team. But in the end, Mono going to end up dropping out, unfortunately for them, and they're the first in this group to drop out, which means it's up to Clutch now.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to see Clutch versus Team Liquid rematch. We're joined now on the desk, before we actually head into that, of course, by James and Andrew. Guys, that was pretty straightforward, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing for me at that game was that I learned that Clutch's pose game was completely on point.
Right?
I was not expecting that in Hollywood.
And their spray game.
It was sort of a normal game where you thought, okay,
it was good.
Clutch is super favored, but then you look at them in their spawn and you get a just view into their pregame ritual, and that was 6 emotes. It was lined up beautifully. It was great.
I'm trying to remember which team did Snow White and the Seven Dwarves in beta. Was that actually Melty?
I don't know if it was Melty. There was some just weird Torbjorn rituals that went on, though, in general.
Very good.
Torbjorn was the ground site for some real just strange things.
I hope the experience was good for Mono.
Yeah.
Obviously, they were up against much stronger teams, but you know, it's great to taste what's possible in Overwatch, and I'm sure they're a young team. I think they're the college team, right? But essentially,
yep.
So lots to come from them in the future, I hope. But they do make their exit from the tournament now, and it will be Clutch going up against Team Liquid to see who else goes to Atlanta. And there are indeed chances for Liquid here.
Well, nobody else in this game was like Clutch. Credit to them. They weren't playing silly compositions or anything like that. Their pose game was absolutely on point. But when they went out there and squeezed every little bit of practice and warm up for this that they possibly could. Calvin in particular was just like, no, I'm still going to absolutely be pixel perfect and get myself as ready as possible.
Yeah, I mean, the main thing is looking between the two teams, and this sort of happened earlier in the day on the first Mono game, but Mono, they're an up-and-coming team. They did do well enough to place and be in the groups here tonight, but unfortunately, there is a very big gap between your super top-level teams and teams that are just getting into it. Unfortunately for Mono, they ran into that brick wall head first, not once, but twice tonight. But it's a good learning experience, and hopefully they'll be able to bounce back from this and come back as a stronger team.
It was always it was always going to be difficult when they saw that they were drawn into this group, but I think you raise an excellent point, CP. At the end of the day, over 4 weeks, you need to accrue enough points to even get here in the first place. And can we acknowledge, actually, that Mono were able to do that? Were they one of the bottom-seeded teams? Sure, but they consistently displayed those results that got them in the top 32 of a 256-team bracket week after week. So they've done well to get here.
And look, you got to start somewhere. Everybody starts their pro gaming career at a low level, and you got to move on up. You got to keep practicing, and playing in tournaments so much more valuable than playing ranked or even scrimming. Just having that tournament environment and playing against teams the caliber of Clutch, it's where you got to start. So Mono, we're rooting for you guys. We want to see you play next time and make it as far as possible. But this time, we'll see you next time.
This time, we'll see you next time, indeed. It's all about the grind. And it's also all about the incredible play of the game, brought to you by Republic of Gamers. I know what I want it to be, but is it going to be that? We will find out
I don't
very
know.
soon enough.
There was something that was just absolutely incredible in this game that caught everyone's attention. I don't know if that's going to be that.
Better be.
It could also be that. Oh, it's that.
It's this. It
What is
wasn't
this?
that.
It wasn't that, but it's this.
Yeah, this was the Calvin show right here. He did this more than once, absolutely.
And picking off the Deadeye with the headshot at the end of
Oh,
that as well. And yeah,
this.
there we go.
That is the
Yeah,
incredible play.
producers.
Oh, man.
I knew they wouldn't let me down. Good stuff. So that's going to bring that match to a close. We will go on to Liquid versus Clutch after the break. Clutch, they came close in one of the maps against Liquid. Maybe they can do better on this occasion. We will have some further discussion about that after the break, I believe. So stay tuned and we'll see you back here shortly.